So, 10 thoughts on the Kenobi trailer, and I have to start this off by telling you a little bit about where I am coming from. I am not the biggest Star Wars fan in the world. That said, I am familiar with most of the stuff, except for I only saw the first and a half movie from the Disney trilogy. So, I kind of walked out in the middle of that second movie. So, I don't remember any of the beginning of that movie. It was very bad, and I did not see the third. So that's where I'm coming from. But the one thing that I want to say first off about this trailer, the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer, is that the big selling shot, I think, from this trailer is a shot of someone's heels as they're hanging in the town square. Uh, this is how they plan on drawing out the Jedi. I think it's the Inquisitor had said, I'm not 100% with these terms and terminologies, but said that the fact that the Jedi's creed is like a stain upon them, they cannot help it. So anytime that they see someone in distress, they're going to come out of the shadows. That is how these individuals plan on drawing out the Jedi, by just tearing stuff apart, which is a really, really dastardly sort of intro to this series. And I think it means, the main thing I think it means, that there is going to be a whole lot of meat on the bones to this series. This is going to get dark, and it is going to be up to Obi-Wan Kenobi to sort of, the series says in this trailer, hope remains or hope is alive. I can't remember the exact phrasing, but that is going to be up to the Obi-Wan Kenobi character, right? That is sort of the hallmark of that character, the little bit of a wry smile that he had in the prequel trilogy. So this is going to be dark. There's going to be a lot of evil. This is going to be dark, and that is sort of exactly, well, when we look at the Boba Fett series, the best episode was the darkest episode, and it was the episode with Mando. And there was some levity in that episode, but it was dark. You don't open up a television show by cutting somebody in half and just have a lighthearted time. So I think that the weight of this series, the way it looks so far, that there's going to be a whole lot of weight and nasty stuffs going on, is going to add more to the levity as opposed to take anything from it. The second thing I want to talk about, the big elephant in the room with this series, and the big elephant in the room with the Ewan McGregor as an actor, is how quickly Obi-Wan ages into weird Ben Kenobi, weird old Ben Kenobi. And as rough as Ewan McGregor looks in this trailer, and he looks weathered, boy does he look weathered, I think that there's going to be some type of big aging feat that happens. I think maybe a forced projection, maybe that comes into play here. Maybe that is how, maybe Vader and his Inquisitors are closing in on Obi-Wan, and all of a sudden Obi-Wan force projections himself onto another planet, and the call goes out, Vader, we've got Obi-Wan over here on this planet, something like that. I think it's possible that something like that is what ends up sort of draining the Obi-Wan character into looking older than he does at this point, even though, man, does he look rough in this trailer. Next, the one thing I really want to see in the series is Grogu. I think that there is a pretty good chance that what ends up happening here is that Grogu is going, Dave Filoni, I think it was, that said that Grogu's the key moving forward. Grogu's going to be the one that ties it all together. And what better way to do that than in this series, bringing Grogu into I think what we're going to do is we're going to get some of Darth Vader's side of the story. I don't think that Darth Vader is only going to be seen in Kenobi's dreams, as it has been leaked, sort of, as I think it was Ewan McGregor said, oh, we're going to fight in dream sequences. I'm calling BS. I think we're going to have a whole side of this that is Darth Vader's story. And I think it's possible that we get Grogu in that part of the story. What is Grogu up to? What is Grogu doing? How was Grogu saved from the Jedi Temple? Was Grogu saved at the Jedi Temple? Or was he simply sacked and taken? So a lot of the episode in Boba Fett where Grogu appeared, it was sort of assumed that in that flashback scene with Luke, what happened was someone steps in and saves him. Well, maybe not. Maybe he was just so powerful that he was worth Palpatine and Vader saving in order to try to extract midichlorians or whatever is going on there, right? I think that it's possible that's what's happened here. And I think we're going to get a little bit of it. I think we're definitely going to see Grogu in this series. The next thing I want to talk about is sort of along those lines. The fourth thing that I want to talk about, I think we're going to get some cool new characters, and I think we're going to get some characters from like the comics. We're obviously getting characters from the cartoons. That's where the Inquisitors come from, right? Cartoons and video games, I believe. But when you think of the Mando series, Mando's a new character. The Bill Burr character is a new character. Grogu, new character. All of these people running around, new characters. Then when you've got the Boba Fett series, Black Chrysanthemum, comic book character. Cad Bane is a character from the cartoons, right? So I think we're going to get other characters that we did not foresee happening here. And the interesting thing about that in this is that they're going to have pretty intriguing stories moving forward, right? Because this is sort of right before the original trilogy breaks out. Not right before, but within 15 years, I think, 15, 17 years. Somebody said something about that, 15, 17 years from this is when that series started. That original trilogy started. For these characters to have not been anywhere near the original trilogy and not even have been mentioned, they're going to have branched out into different parts of the Star Wars universe. So for any new characters that come into play, they're going to, I imagine what that means is you probably got a gray Jedi pop up. What that probably means is you probably have Force users that are not, that might be drawn to the dark side of the Force, but are not Sith individuals. Sith people, Sith persons, whatever it is. Sith, they're not Sith. Next thing I want to talk about is sort of related to that first point, that there's going to be some stuff going on here. You've got Obi-Wan Kenobi, okay? There's going to be so much 3D nature to Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're going to get to know him like you've never known any characters in the Star Wars universe before. Why do I say that? He's in the prequel trilogy, all 3 movies. He is in the original movie. And he has 20 years of lore that were brought up around him between the original movie coming out and the prequel trilogy coming out. So there's all that storytelling already there for Obi-Wan Kenobi. But here we have a 6-episode series of 1-hour episodes. This is essentially, when you really think about it, 6 hours of airtime. That's an entire trilogy worth of movies that we're going to be spending with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not only that, we get to see him at work. We get to see him observing another character that we know he's going to talk to later. So there's going to be a lot of internal dialogue there. We're going to see a lot of Obi-Wan Kenobi that we never even imagined. And I bet, this is a weird call. I bet there's an extended cry scene. I bet that because Ewan McGregor is a very talented actor. and we've got him through this entire teaser trailer looking real sad. There's going to be an extended scene of emotional perplexity, maybe even, if you want to call it that. There's going to be a crash for Obi-Wan Kenobi, which will let us closer to that character. Now, the Obi-Wan Kenobi that existed in the prequel trilogy, sort of a farcical individual. Well, hello there, right? All that stuff. Or when you get to the original trilogy, this guy acts a whole lot like he's got PTSD, right? How do we make that transition? How is it that we get there? I'm betting on Deborah to really show us how. The next thing I want to talk about here is Boba Fett and Season 2 of The Mandalorian. Favreau and Filoni were ham-fistedly, at times, cramming in fan service. And I think we're going to get a lot of it here. I think the two things that I really think we're going to see, I think we're going to see Darth Maul. I might be wrong on the timeline. I'm pretty sure he's still alive here. I think we're going to see Darth Maul. I think we're going to see Qui-Gon Jinn. If you put those two things into this series, you don't have to take away from the fact that this is an Obi-Wan series. And you don't have to take away from the fact that there's going to be Darth Vader in this series. And this series is probably going to be about the dynamic between those two. You don't have to, because you've got 6 hours of airtime. Again, 6, I don't know off the top of my head, but I imagine that's about the same type of runtime as the Dark Knight trilogy. I imagine that's probably more runtime than the Iron Man trilogy. This is a lot of time. This is a lot of airtime. You've got a lot of stuff that you can do here, especially if there's just every other episode, there's a little bit of powwow with Qui-Gon. One time in the middle of the series, there's a run-in with Darth Maul. That's all it has to be. The next thing I want to talk about, boy, they really are playing up the Jesus look, aren't they? So I have to imagine here, desert planet, the chosen one. Is he the one of the 3 wise men riding, to find Luke with gifts? We've got all those sort of overtones. There's going to be a whole lot of religious overtones, which is only fitting, which is only right, because it is a return to form for the Star Wars mythos. The idea of religiosity, the idea of the chosen one, all of these things rolled in to this one series. It'll be interesting to see how those things really sort of play out. And if they do play up the religious overtones, if they do play up the chosen one overtones, what is it that they're going to be doing? Will we have a Temptation of Kenobi scene, right? The Passion of Kenobi, all of these types of things. I think that we probably have a team that would have been able to pull that off. You've got Favreau and Filoni, which are really going to throw in the entirety of the Star Wars mythos, mixed with Deborah Chow, who's very talented. And then you have Ewan McGregor, who has invested decades now into this character. So, yeah, I think that what we're going to be seeing here is something that really holds the weight of the evil stuff going on and the gravitas of the religious symbology stuff that we're going to be getting here. The next thing I want to talk about, budget. Holy moly. This thing looks expensive. This thing looks like a movie. There was a little bit of rough around the edges to the Boba Fett series that felt like it was filmed in a sandbox, right? There was a bit of rough around the edges to Mandalorian Season 1, but that could have been written off to, yeah, they're returning to the Star Wars of the original trilogy, right? Where you've got more of the stop motion looking animations, things like that. This stuff has none of that. This big new planet that we have that looks, I thought was Coruscant. Apparently, I am completely wrong. Um, like I said, not a huge Star Wars guy, but I really do like the uh, Disney Plus stuff. I do like Mandalorian. I thought Boba Fett was pretty good. Um, they did not spare a dime here. They did not spare a dime here. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. The next thing I want to talk about, I'm going to quote the great philosopher Kanye West. They used Duel of the Fates. They used Duel of the Fates because Disney, like Kanye West, lives by two words: fuck you, pay me. Disney wants your money. No qualms about it. Disney seems to be turning the page towards wanting your money versus moralizing towards you. Fuck you, pay me. I'm going to play Duel of the Fates. You're going to get the feels. The hair on the back of your neck is going to stand up, and you're going to want Disney Plus. Wow, wooey. What a call to play Duel of the Fates. And the last thing I want to talk about here is that Mandalorian and so again, as an outsider, sort of an outside guy, a guy who's familiar with Star Wars, not in the core fan base. To me, to your average sort of normie, Mandalorian and Boba Fett, while they felt like Star Wars, they felt sort of tangential to Star Wars. If I could use a sports term, kickoff, field goals, punt team, that's football, but it's not really football, right? It's on the field. It's during the game. The same rules apply. If it's a holding on the punt, it's just like a holding on a run play. It's football, but it's not real football, right? Mandalorian, Boba Fett, to an outsider like me, to somebody that's not in the world, to a normie, felt like special teams Star Wars. Not really in the meat of things. This is going to be a change from that. There looks like Star Wars, to someone like me, means lightsabers and the Force. This is what it means to me. I understand that's not what Star Wars is. I understand that is not even the meat of it. There's a whole universe at play here. But to me, when I hear Star Wars, I think, wow. I think the Force chokes, all that stuff. That's what I think of. This looks like it's got a whole lot of that. So when we're talking about getting back to the idea of Star Wars, it makes me wonder if what we're going to be doing here with this series is trying to recenter the branding. And I know that sounds like corporate speak, but does it? Does it really? When you're talking about recentering the branding, and you've got Luke Skywalker already in the trailer, Obi-Wan Kenobi already in the trailer, Darth Vader's breathing already in the trailer, the song that makes you undoubtedly think of Darth Maul already in the trailer. You have all these things, core Star Wars. You have all these people, I'm pretty sure, Inquisitors or Force users, again, outside, don't know. You have all of these lightsabers already running around in the teaser trailer. This seems like a return to the center of the brand from an outsider, from someone just observing this. And I think that is something that is, I don't know where I heard this, but someone said if the Disney trilogy doesn't include a single damn lightsaber, they'll be happy. I can't remember where it was. I don't know if this was just somebody I was talking to. I don't know if this was somebody that was big in the Star Wars community. But the prequel trilogy had such a reliance upon Star Wars lightsabers, right? That if the Disney trilogy had not a single one, they'd be happy. They'd be more than happy. I think this is getting away from that. And I think that this is going to be that core of Star Wars. That is all I have for this. It really helps me out here on the channel if you do decide to hit that like button. If this is your first time finding this channel, consider hitting that subscribe button and sticking around for more. I do movie reviews here. I'm running through the Daily Stoic on a week-by-week basis here on the channel. I talk about random things on this channel, but I'm also over at Strip Coverlet. So if you like this, if you were here by chance but not design, consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you hit the like button, it really does help me out on the channel. And I hope to have you back for the next video.